Welcome to Mainland Television Regional News. I'm Graham O'Brien and today's bulletin: Labour's Little sussing out the regions, Museum CEO takes on a new journey, Nelsonians flagging the flag project, and more. The newest Labour Party leader Andrew Little is on a mission to get around many of New Zealand's smaller regions to find out how they tick and what people in these regions wanting to see changed. In Nelson last week, Chrissy Small caught up with Andrew at Nelson's Honest Lawyer before his public meeting at the Trafalgar Pavilion to talk about his leadership and how his current mission is going.
I'm here with the Leader of the Opposition, Andrew Little. What brings you to Nelson?
Well, one of my commitments when I became leader was to spend the first year getting out and about across as much of New Zealand as I could, and that meant getting to as many provincial centres and towns around about the place that I can. So this week it's Nelson's turn, so I'm here I'm meeting with party members obviously, and then I've got a day of visits to various places and businesses and organisations just to catch up and see what the issues are, listen to people and hear what they have to say and help us inform what we need to do, the kind of issues that we need to pick up as a political party.
Right. Okay, now, the polls are sometimes they're quite depressing. At this stage, it's they're saying that you've dropped 2% as preferred leader. What do you think about that?
Well, it depends what poll you look at. I mean, one poll has me going up, another one had me going down. Pretty much, and they're all within the margin of error. So you don't live your life driven by polls necessarily. I'm very pleased with where things are at. Certainly, since I became leader, we've had a big lift in the polls. We're in the sort of early 30s, which is where as a party we I expected, or at least wanted us to be by this time. We always predicted that it'll take a little longer for others. A lot of other people who are now listening to us, now seeing that we're there, but want to see that we are, we're really serious about making the change, listening to people and making ourselves viable for 2017. So I'm not at all concerned about it. I'm very optimistic. I'm very pleased with where we're at. I'm very pleased with the feedback that we're getting. Very pleased with the work that the caucus, for example, is doing. Everybody's doing amazing stuff, focused on the issues, and it's all going well. So it was never going to change overnight. We always knew we had a big job of work to do. It's happening and things are progressing well.
So Andrew, how is it going with the feedback from the smaller regions as you're going around the country?
It's been good. I think the overwhelming message I'm getting is just how neglected a lot of the people in the regions are feeling. And you look at the most recent budget, there's absolutely nothing in that for regional New Zealand. A lot more money going particularly into Auckland and into other metropolitan centres, but nothing for the regions. And I think, particularly now with issues like the lower dairy payout, that's going to affect the regions a lot more than it will the big cities. People are going to start to feel that, and I think the message we've been saying is actually it's time for the government to wake up and realise that the regions need a bit of support too. They've had a lot of funding for roading projects taken out of the regions and put into Auckland. Government departments have cut their regional workforces and centralised things back to Wellington. These are all things that you take those sorts of things out of the regions and they really feel it. So we have a view which is that the government does have a role, a responsibility, and to work with local communities and local authorities to make sure that we're sustaining and supporting the regions, attracting people there, making them good places to live, making sure the infrastructure is in place. So what people can expect to see from us is a greater emphasis on those things that are going to attract people to the regions, make provincial cities and towns a place to invest, to do business, to work and to live. And we want to see more of that.
Right, so making them more viable.
Yeah, I think, this, the other thing too about, you look at the rapid growth in the size of Auckland, part of that is our immigration policy sort of, when people get to the border and they stay in Auckland, we'd like to see an immigration policy used to attract people to other parts of New Zealand too. Those coming in under the investor category, coming here to invest their wealth, well, we'd like to see that put in other parts of New Zealand too and sustain local economy. So it's just about being a bit more creative about what we've got. Okay,
now we've got situations in Nelson where we have homeless. That must be, if it's in Nelson, it's just about everywhere. What can Labour do to help those sorts of people that have kind of dropped out of the society's eye, if you like, and surviving, just surviving.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a real problem in a lot of places, and for some, in some cases, it's to do with just poverty. People cannot afford to live, and they are out on the streets. For some, it's mental health issues, and I think I'm getting an increasing amount of correspondence from people, from families in particular, who are concerned about just the lack of support and help that family members who've got mental health issues are getting, and many of them are winding up on the streets too. So I think there's a range of ways we need to deal with the problem of homelessness. But the truth is, it is real. It's happening in New Zealand. 20 years ago, if you'd said, listen, homelessness was going to be a real issue in New Zealand, you'd have been laughed at. But it is real now. And it's just part of that sort of breakdown in social support and social services that's happened under this government that we need to turn around.
Right. Now, Andrew, why on earth would you want to be Prime Minister of New Zealand?
Oh, this is a fantastic country. This is a great country, and we're great people actually. And that, New Zealand's reputation as people around the world is that we're open, we communicate with anybody, we don't have the sense of kind of social hierarchy and all that sort of stuff, and we're practical people. We can turn our hand to just about anything. And then as a country, we are a magnificent country. We've got a lot going for us. I just think we can do a lot better. I think there are a lot of people who want to have the opportunity to do a lot better. And we are a country that, we've got a great history of fairness and people having opportunity and egalitarianism. I'd like to get some of that back, because that makes for a peaceful and harmonious community. And, as your question about homelessness, there are people who are being left out and being left behind. That's not the New Zealand I grew up with. And it can't be the New Zealand of the future, and I want to do something about that.
A turnout of around 35 people for the Flag Consideration Project Roadshow last Thursday night at the Tahunanui Motor Camp Conference Centre means that many Nelsonians, it seemed, decided to flag this flag event. However, the organisers claim the attendance was fantastic after their Christchurch meeting had a turnout of a mere 13 people. Many of those who attended the meeting in Nelson had agreed that a change of flag was required, although the sorts of changes were varied. Others at the meeting felt that the New Zealand flag should remain as it is, and that the process of assessing opinion for making any change was a waste of taxpayers' money. I spoke with Deputy Chair Kate De Gildy and flag historian and panel member Malcolm Mulholland about the roadshow. Kate De Gildy, you're the Deputy Chair of the panel. How have you found the Flag Consideration Project so far?
Enormously interesting. It's first of all, being on the panel is fascinating with 11 other interesting New Zealanders discussing how we would bring about this process of engagement with the public, and then preparing for when the design submissions come in. So that was our initial series of meetings, and now we're in the public engagement process, and there's a roadshow going around the country, and each of us are spending time with different communities.
Sure. And have you been around to any schools or other places?
Yeah, just yesterday actually. I live in Wellington, so I was at Ngaio School working with Year 6 students. The schools, there's a very, very good school resource which mirrors the public engagement process. So many schools will be doing exactly the same thing as the public, as they'll be holding discussions in their classes about what New Zealand stands for, what they as New Zealanders stand for, and then thinking about how those concepts and values can be translated into symbols and colours on potential flags. And they are right up for it. They were incredible. If the grown-ups in the country can engage in discussion in that way, then I think we're onto something very interesting.
Malcolm, you're on the panel. It must be sort of exhilarating to be out there and listening to all this discussion. It was pretty good tonight. How do you feel about everything?
Oh, it was awesome. It's really good hearing the debate within the community, and, tonight was no exception. Really good turnout, I think, from Nelson in comparison with other places that we've been to. And, I was quite heartened by it. Some really good thinking there.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see that people that are actually on opposite ends of the thing are still agreeing that we do need some kind of change.
Yeah, I think that's the inevitability kind of argument, that at some stage, whether it be this year or 10 years or 50 years, eventually our flag will change. So I would like to think of it that if that is the case, then it's really important that we have an intergenerational debate, so that those who go before us have some input in what the flag might be moving forward, if it is to change.
Hey, thanks very much.
No worries.
Cheers. After attending the meeting, it could seem that many people are forgetting that our flag only stands as a symbol of New Zealand. Democracy, justice, fairness and independence were what people attending these meetings seem to want the flag to stand for. However, with the ongoing secrecy of the current Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations and concerns about the loss of New Zealand's sovereignty if our government should sign, people may do better to question those potential changes to New Zealand laws rather than potential changes to the flag. We asked people on the street their thoughts on changing our New Zealand flag. What do you feel about changing the flag, spending $26 million? Do you want to change the flag?
No, I don't want to change the flag. It's great how it is. They should be spending their $26 million on other things.
They're trying to change it to a black and a grey, I think, but I think the blue symbolises our country pretty well. But
So you're in favour of a change?
no, I'm in favour of keeping the blue as it is. Yeah, just me personally though.
I think there's much better ways to spend our hard-earned taxes money, and I'm happy with the flag as the way it is. I like it as it is, so don't change it.
What do they think we are, you know? Just sitting around waiting to be told what to do, you know?
I think the government's got it all wrong, completely wrong. First of all, I think they're inside out with their what they're doing. They're going the wrong way about it, and we really don't need a new flag. The flag's fine. What are we going to end up with? Something that half the people don't want anyhow.
Who decided it needed changing, and what's wrong with the flag as it is, and also it's not going to stop it just changing the cost. I think it'll be ongoing because the flag will appear on lots of things that we haven't thought about. So I don't really think you can justify spending that much money on changing the flag. I think it's good the way it is.
Spending that much money on changing the flag's pretty ridiculous, to be honest, and I think they should keep it the same.
He hasn't even asked New Zealanders whether we want to change the flag. You know, he's just barreling ahead and saying, oh, we're going to change the flag, you know. And he's not giving us any option to choose whether we want to or not. So, sounds like bloody dictation to me.
I think we've got to change it. It's got to be part of our transition into a more mature country. I think hanging on the back of what the UK does, and which is represented in our flag, hanging on the back of that and thinking like we're seeking advice from them about how we live our lives is just a thing of the past, and we've just got to move on from that because they're not relevant to what we do.
Mainland's Television News is one entity that will miss dealing with Provincial Museum Director Peter Millward, who is retiring. Peter has been very present as CEO, having appeared on Mainland throughout his time to talk about the museum throughout the changes that he has overseen. The Tasman Bays Heritage Trust announced his departure on Friday. Also leaving is Trust Chair Terry Horn, who said Mr Millward had passed the usual retirement age and had decided he wanted to have more time to spend with family and to devote to other interests. Peter Millward has been the museum director for 7 years after leaving the Auckland War Memorial Museum. With over 25 years devoted to museums and the education sector, he has had a career that has given a great deal to the community in New Zealand and in Australia. While in Nelson, he has lifted the public image of the museum while overseeing some outstanding exhibitions like the Roman machines, including the current exhibition on World War I. He is leaving the museum in a sound financial position and with increasing admission numbers. The museum has recently undertaken a review of its operations and facilities. The museum is now going through a recruitment process and expects to attract people of top calibre. The Nelson Provincial Museum is thought to be the oldest museum in New Zealand, moving to its current site in the central city in 2005 and attracting over 46,000 visitors in the last year. All of us here wish Peter Millward well in his next chosen journey. Snail Mail Day is about getting people to write letters. With the 100-year commemoration of World War I, much of the information we have is from letters written home from the men. Will we say to our children, your father or mother wrote me a romantic email and I saved it in my inbox? I spoke to a young local girl, Sophie, to find out what she enjoyed most about writing and posting her own letters. Sophie, Snail Mail Day is coming up. Can you tell us a little bit why Snail Mail Day is special for you?
I have a pen pal who lives in Hamilton, and we write letters to each other, and I went to visit her a few weeks ago, and writing letters to her has really improved my spelling and writing, and it's really fun, and I hope more people can do it because it's just really, really fun. And
Hey, that's great. And when you write letters, you can send stuff to each other? Do you often do that?
yeah, I have some gifts from my pen pal, which are on the table. Yeah, so we normally send a gift, but sometimes we don't.
And do you ever use the new technology? Do you ever email each other as well?
Only to say a present's coming or watch out in your letterbox, there's something coming.
And Sophie, would you like to say anything to all the viewers about Snail Mail Day?
It's really fun and I hope more people can do it.
Local Snail Mail Day organiser Alison Moore talks to us in the studio about this event being held on Saturday the 13th of June.
Really because I've always been a bit of a letter writer, a serial letter writer, and a friend found the connection for me last year, which is when it started, and I just thought, oh, that sounds like a great idea because, I mean, promoting letter writing has got so many benefits for everybody, really.
Yeah, and what kind of benefits do you think it is for people that get involved with Snail Mail Day?
Well, it can reconnect you with friends. I mean, I started writing letters when I was, you know, really young, as in, I don't know, 10 or something like that. And when you write to people, it's actually a great way of expressing what's going on in your life, but it's something that you're sending to them. It's a personal conversation between you and somebody else. And then they can read it whenever they like. So it's not like a phone call that might interrupt your tea or your homework or whatever. And you can keep it forever. I mean, letters last. A lot of social media these days, it's great. Everything has its purpose, and I mean, I'm not decrying its existence, but letters and cards are forever. Unless the silverfish get them, of course.
Yeah, no, I mean, the only envelopes or the only letters I seem to get are envelopes with little windows in them, and I don't look forward to looking in my letterbox so often.
Precisely.
And can you tell us a little bit about what's happening in Nelson that you know of for Snail Mail Day?
Right, I don't know everything. I hope I don't know everything, because obviously anybody can do whatever they like with their own group of friends or their own, you know, grandchildren or whatever. But I understand that the Nelson and Stoke libraries are going to be having a table where they're providing cards for people to come and sit down and write something. I'm not sure exactly what the details are, but I'm sure they'll be advertising that. I know of at least one grandparent who's organising for her granddaughter's classmates to all get together and write to people. And, oh, there's a third one, but I'm afraid it's the community service that the Men's Shed has organised, which means that people can go into Lambrettas and post their snail mail for free, and it will be delivered in the Nelson area by the Men's Shed.
Great,
which is very helpful, yeah.
And we'll be getting on to that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. So we've got Snail Mail Day, we've got people writing letters. Is there anything else you want to pass on? Any sort of, what do you want to say to people out there?
Well, I guess it's just a case of if you feel like getting involved, there are no rules. It's something that someone else who was really keen on written communication, words, language, how we can all communicate in different ways. She started it last year, and it's something that you can get involved in whenever you like. Snail Day will focus people's minds so that perhaps there's somebody you wanted to write a letter to at Christmas, but because you had 25 cards to write, you just said Happy Christmas, love, whatever. If there's somebody that you think I must write to, Snail Mail Day can be that time when you think, right, well, I'll do it today. And if you do it the day before or the day after, well, you know, that's no big deal, I don't think. It's simply a case of reminding us that written communication is such a personal message from one friend or one person to another.
As part of the promotion for Snail Mail Day, Men's Shed Whakatū has put a Nelson Community Post Box in Lambrettas Cafe for free delivery in the Nelson area only. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
I'm Francis from Nelson Auto Glass. We repair all auto glass, stone chips, windscreen replacements, scratch removal.
If you have an autoglass issue, our team will sort it.
Nelson Auto Glass Specialists, 84 Vanguard Street, Nelson.
.1 The Shed.
Discover the Belgrove Tavern, just 20 minutes south of Richmond on State Highway 6. A restaurant, functions, weddings, barbecue, a garden bar with lots of room for kids. Come and see us.
We're the team at JCar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables, and much, much more. JCar.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
Here's something for your diary. Do you want to see healthier food options in Nelson? Come and attend a meeting to talk about it. You're invited to share your ideas about the design of an app for collecting information about the food being sold in places around your community. The meetings will be held in the Victory Community Centre on 2 Totara Street in South Nelson on Monday 13th of July from 6:30 to 9 p.m. and Tuesday the 14th of July from 12:30 to 3 p.m. Healthy snacks will be provided for everyone to enjoy. These meetings are hosted by the Food Back Project team. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us, and we'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
G'day, it's your old mate the Mad Butcher and you're watching Mainland TV.
Hi, my name's Ian Mortimer. Mortimer Auto Upholstery is your one-stop shop for all your upholstery needs. We do car and boat interiors, boat canopies, ute tonneau covers, canvas and PVC fabrication. Call in and see us in Oxford Mews, 72 Oxford Street, Richmond.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialists at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
World War I was a defining period in our history, impacting greatly on the lives of people from the Nelson province. Memories of the First World War is an exhibition which will be displayed in a number of regional venues and is currently on at the Nelson Provincial Museum.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220. And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979. So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Nelson Tire Center. Great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer. All types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
Welcome to Smugglers Pub and Cafe, open 7 days a week with free parking all day. Our lunch menus have that fat old-fashioned flavour where we treat you like treasure with the food you'll savour.
We cater for children, grannies and granddads too, with special rates and privileges given to the elderly lunchtime crew. Our staff are friendly and kind and want to see you all come back time after time.
Daytime or evening, it doesn't matter. Give us a call on 546 4084 and we'll be happy to spoil ya.
Rats, stoats and possums are killing our native birds and reptiles. You can stop this tragedy.
The Brookway Marama Sanctuary is building a pest-proof fence which will allow native wildlife to flourish and spread into our lives.
Help us preserve our native wildlife.
Your support is needed now. You can personally or as a group sponsor a fence post for as little as $100, including the legacy of a personalised plaque.
Go to thebrooksanctuary.org or give us a call.
And be part of this exciting community project.
The Brookway Marama Sanctuary, returning nature to the Nelson region.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220. And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979. So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.